probably asking yourself, what am I looking for? What kind of traits, what kind of things should I be looking for as a prospective owner in a breeder or a breeding pair? So I'll tell you what we look for here. So I'm very particular in our breeding program and the dogs that we bring in to be a part of that. But there's a list of things that I go through as I'm training each one of these dogs to say, hey, you have this or you don't. Genetics are everything. So we want to put the odds in our favor that these are going to be puppies that exhibit traits that we're looking for as owners, as hunting partners in the future. So I'll tell you, for us, one thing that I put at the very top of our list is health. As it sits today, as this video is being made, there are 29 health tests that we run on each one of our Labradors when they come in and when we test them to see if they're going to be a part of the breeding program. The reason it's 29 is because through the genetics lab that we use, that is every test that we can, as of today, test for in a Labrador Retriever. Now that number is ever changing, there's always something being added, but we're always trying to do as many tests or the most tests we can to ensure that our puppies are going to be the happiest, healthiest puppies that we can put on this earth. That's a big deal for us. We don't want to skimp and then have somebody have some sort of health issue that is something that we could have controlled. So we try to control what we can control. That's very important as we look at exhibiting health, in this case, as a trait for these puppies moving forward. For me, as I look through and go through the training with these dogs, and the reason I say go through the training is because I'm training each one of these dogs that we put in the breeding program. I want you to prove to me that you have the traits we're talking about that I want you exhibiting to be entered into our breeding program. So for us, one thing that I really love is seeing a dog with a lot of desire. I want you to want to go do this. I want you to love your job. I want you to go work and go be the athlete that we want you to be. That is not something that I can put into you, right? That is, you either have it or you don't. And so if you have it, you are letting us know that you are likely going to pass on that trait to your puppies, that puppy will also have that desire that that dog is showing. So that's a big part of it for us, especially as hunters. We want a dog with desire and drive that wants to go do the job. On the flip side, we also have the temperament. Okay, so I want the dog that wants to go do it, the drive, the capability, the high ceiling. I want all that. But I also want the dog that can come in, be a member of my family, be in the house without being a nuisance, be able to have that off switch, as you hear it called, be able to shut it off, come in the house, relax, chill out, be able to go to my son's t-ball game, be able to go to my daughter's soccer game, and be able to be a great member of society. Not all dogs that have a big motor have the ability to shut it off and have that kind of temperament. So that's something that I'm really looking for. I want a dog that can show me that you have both that on and also that off switch. One of my favorite things to evaluate, and it's something that I get very picky on, is a natural retrieve. Now, this is something that you might go, well, it's a Labrador Retriever. Shouldn't it just naturally want to retrieve? And I totally agree with you. But for me, when I go through the training, I want to see what you naturally are doing. Are you naturally chompy and hard mouth? Are you naturally wanting to drop things short and not finish that retrieve all the way to me? If I have to manufacture that, if I have to train that, because I can train that into you so that you hold a little better, that you finish that retrieve all the way to me, we can train that. But those puppies are going to get what was naturally genetically in that dog, those traits, versus what I trained into them. They're not going to receive that as 8-week-old puppies. And for me, I want to give that puppy every natural ability that I possibly can. So the natural genetic side, that natural mouth, that natural retrieve is very high on my list as I go through what is it that you display to show me that you have what it takes to be that good retriever that we're wanting you to be. The fourth one that I really love to talk about is, I call it being a team player. I want a dog that wants to do this with me, not be that renegade and just wants to do it for him or herself. Team player is something that we do see, certain lines want to be that team player and want to work with you. So especially for the average owner, that maybe it's your first dog or second dog and not a professional handler, right? That person, even more importantly, needs a dog that wants to do it with them, rather than having to fight and be perfect with every correction and everything. If I blow that whistle, I want that dog to turn around and say, Dad, where do you want me to go? What do you want me to do? Let's do this as a team, rather than that dog that's going to blow through and go, no, I'm going to do this on my own. So a team player is something that I really look for. I think it's a really big trait, as we look at these dogs and passing it on to their puppies. The last one that I have is the hunt. Okay, so after I go through and I finish the training and I have that retriever that I think is going to make the cut and make the dog that I want them to be in a training scenario, Now that's when the hunting season comes into play. Because it's amazing. You take a dog that is great in training, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to be a great hunter in that field. There's so many intangibles, and there's so many situations. I want to see you think. I want to see you handle those situations. I want to see how you handle a bird that's being elusive and trying to get away from you. I want you to handle the chaos, and can you keep your composure? There's certain things like that certain dogs just rise to the occasion. It's like that cream rises to the top, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is the gun dog that I'm looking for, the hunting dog that I'm looking for. So that to me is like the last piece, the icing on the cake of like, after I go through and check all these boxes and I think I have the dog that was easy and fun to train, that was that elevated to that high level that I'm looking for, that has that off switch, that's genetically health wise, like we get through everything. Now if you do it on the hunt, that's where you kind of make the team for me. So it's a very small percentage of dogs that go all the way through that, because the more natural you are, ideally in genetics, the more you're going to pass those traits on to be natural, with your offspring. So it's a lot for a dog to go through, and it's a lot, and that's not even every little thing that we look for. But as you look for what should I be looking for, to me, those are some of the questions that I would ask a breeder is, are we checking some of these boxes that you're looking for? Because for me, I'm a hunter. I want to make sure that I have a dog that has all of these traits. Again, there's no guarantee in this. When you're breeding any kind of animal, you can take great dogs and they don't necessarily produce great offspring. But you can put the odds in your favor to make sure that you check as many of your boxes as you can to hopefully put the odds in your favor that you will get that great puppy and that great family member.